Chaturanga Dandasana. If there's one pose that gets done incorrectly more than any other in yoga, in my opinion, this is it. I've seen it in beginners, I've seen it in advanced practitioners, and honestly, I've done it wrong myself too. And it's not because people aren't trying, it's because Chaturanga is deceptively tricky. It looks simple, it sounds simple, lower down halfway, right? But the truth is, most students don't have the strength, stability, or awareness to do it safely. And most teachers were never shown how to break it down in a way that actually builds those things over time. That's why this pose causes so many sore shoulders, cranky wrists, and low backs that just feel off after class. And it's why today we're going to completely reframe how you think about Chaturanga so you can teach it in a way that builds strength, supports joints, and gives every student an entry point that works for their body. My name is Crystal Gray. I'm a longtime yoga teacher and yoga teacher trainer. I help yoga teachers like you build confidence in your cueing, refine your teaching voice, and teach in a way that's clear, grounded, and inclusive. If that's something that you want more support with, I made you a free workbook called Clear and Confident Yoga Cues. You can grab it below by clicking on the link in the description. Inside, you'll find practical cues, cueing mistakes to avoid, and a worksheet to help you prep for your classes with more intention. All right, let's dive in. Chaturanga is often tossed out casually with a throwaway cue like move through Chaturanga or flow through your Vinyasa, but the truth is most students and even some teachers don't have the strength or proprioception to safely perform a traditional Chaturanga. And a lot of people don't even know that Chaturanga is a pose. They think it's a movement, and it's not. It's not a Vinyasa. It's one pose in the Vinyasa. Okay, so let's go over some of the standard, super oversimplified cues that are often thrown out in class. Lower halfway down. What does that even mean? Halfway down from where? With what? For many students, that cue leads to them dumping in their shoulders or their low backs or collapsing their chest because they don't have the strength or awareness yet to control that movement. Or the classic elbows hug in. Okay, but are their shoulders still dipping below their elbows? Are they clenching in their neck? And maybe they're holding their breath, just trying to muscle through it. That happens a lot. The reality is most people aren't ready for or don't even need the most physically demanding version of this pose. And we don't want to cue it like everyone should be doing this version. That sets people up for injury, frustration, and honestly feeling like they're failing at yoga. Instead, we always want to start with a more foundational variation, something that builds strength, confidence, and safe patterns. So I'll often say something like from plank, shift forward so your shoulders are just past your wrists. Then bring your knees down. Slowly lower down, bringing your chest down before the belly. If they're ready then for more intensity and have the strength and control, if they can do that really well, then they can keep their knees lifted and still lower with integrity. It won't be pretty at first, but at least we know they have the strength to do it. From a traditional Chaturanga, then usually students move into an upward facing dog, which means that they're trying to link together two of the most commonly challenging poses that are also the most common to be done incorrectly. If you haven't watched my video where I dive into Cobra and upward facing dog, make sure you do that after this one. So I'd encourage you to more often teach it from the knees, then focus on the alignment principles, then add on when needed. Okay, so you can think of cueing like this. We cue the variation that is the least physically demanding first so that students build strength and awareness and confidence. Then, when they're ready, they can explore the more physically demanding versions. Chaturanga is also one of these poses that teaches us a lot about humility and patience. It helps us to face and quiet our ego. Just because it's in the sequence or is cued by the teacher, it doesn't mean that you have to do it. Okay, so listening to your body and choosing the variation that supports your growth is a very powerful practice in itself. Too often, students are trying to do the most physically demanding version, which leads them to not building strength, they're actually building strength slower. Instead of doing a more basic variation first, building the strength while learning so much about body awareness and proper muscle engagement. Instead of it being a building block then for their practice, it becomes something just to get it over with. And when students rush through Chaturanga or just get it over with, they're usually skipping the very things that the pose is meant to cultivate: strength, control, integrity, and awareness. So how do we shift that? We change the way we cue. Here are some simple intentional cue swaps that you can try. Instead of lower halfway down, try shift your chest slightly forward, keeping your shoulders broad, and lower with control, only as far as you can maintain stability. Do this so that students stay in their strength zone and avoid collapsing into their shoulders or lower back. This will also get them into the correct position for Cobra. Instead of elbows hug in, try keep your elbows pointing straight back and beside your ribs as you lower. Do this so that they maintain proper alignment and protect their shoulder joints. Instead of move through your vinyasa, try when moving through your vinyasa, choose the version of chaturanga that supports your body today, not your ego. Do this so that students realize they have agency and options, and that their value as a yogi isn't measured by which version they choose. Instead of lower in one straight line, try as you lower, aim to let your chest land before your belly, like you're gliding forward and down at the same time. Do this so that students engage their upper body and core more effectively, protecting the lower back and learning to stabilize through the descent. This cue is especially helpful for students who tend to belly flop or collapse through their center. And it's a great way to teach spinal integrity without overwhelming them with technical alignment. Just keep in mind, if your student has a belly that naturally extends beyond the chest, this cue may not apply, and that's okay. That's why we teach with flexibility and observation, not just scripts. You can always say something like, let the chest lead the way unless your body shape asks for something different, then honor that. That's how we bring both structure and compassion into our cueing. And one of my favorite ways to bring in somatic awareness, simply by asking questions such as, what muscles are turning on as you lower? What sensations are you noticing as you hold this shape? Can you stay with the feeling of effort without rushing through it? These questions help students feel into their practice rather than perform it. So remember, Chaturanga is not just a transition, it's a pose that deserves your presence and precision. Start simple, cue clearly, and always honor the body that is in front of you. You'll not only help your students build strength and confidence, but you'll also shift the culture around this pose from one of ego and speed to one of awareness and growth. Chaturanga teaches us that strength isn't just about force, it's about control, awareness, discipline, and sometimes strength means knowing when to not push through. Right? This pose also teaches us to respect the journey. You don't get stronger by performing, you get stronger by training. That shift in mindset is what makes us more skillful teachers and more compassionate guides. So next time you cue Chaturanga, lead with the foundational version. Build the shape slowly, explain the why behind each step, and remind your students this is not about proving strength, it's about developing it. Let me know in the comments which tip helped you the most. This will not only help me to know, but it will really help it to sink in for you so that you embody these deeper teachings instead of just trying to memorize them. And if this approach helped you shift how you think about Chaturanga, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this with a teacher friend who might need it. Doing that helps YouTube to know that this content is truly helpful for others. Oh, and if you haven't downloaded it yet, grab my free and clear confident cueing workbook below. It's packed with cues and teaching strategies just like these. Thanks so much for being here and for being the kind of teacher who strives to keep learning. This is what will make you a more skilled teacher and will keep students coming back to your classes over and over. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.